G'day folks, Adam here from Ruslan Foundry. Today we are having a look at the Kiama, I think that's how it's pronounced, steel-bodied hoppers. These come in two varieties, braked and unbraked. I understand they ran them in mixed trains. We will be looking at the braked version. So, our kit contains one steel-bodied hopper. You'll notice they're not a functioning tipper. I could not figure out how to make it work while keeping it looking prototypical. This is in 7/8 scale, by the way. The braked version has this step and some other parts that we'll get to in a second. The unbraked, in a lot of ways, is actually a nicer looking wagon that's more symmetrical. I've done my best to include as much rivet detail as I could find existed on the originals. And you can see, typical, not painted particularly well. I'll admit my faults. Okay, our kit. One body, either the braked or the unbraked. No difference in price, as there's not really a lot of difference in the models. We have our bag of bits. We'll start with, we have 4 release levers. I should say release levers because they are purely decorative. These are, they're 2 and 2. 2 of them are a mirror image to the others. We'll leave these parts to one side for a second. We have our 4 axle boxes. We have our couplings. Now I'm trying something different on these and very much a prototype. I've actually made a 3-link coupling, 3D printed. Now I've tried to break these. I'm quite a large man and I have not been able to, with any reasonable amount of strength, break them. The chain is actually encapsulated in the hook, as it should be. And yeah, nice 3-link coupling. There'll be a follow-up video if this didn't work and I had to figure out something else, I guess. And then our brakes. So we have our brake shoes. Pretty basic, but they give the impression. Our second set of brake shoes. Our handrail, which has got a carrier for the brake shaft. Our brake handle. Also, with your kit, you get a piece of styrene rod and a load-in fill, which you can paint up. I intend to glue powdered product to it for mine, and that will just drop in there and sit in the wagon. Give a nice, not flat, starting point for your load. Right, to assemble, we'll start with our grab handles. So we take our styrene rod, this is 3mm styrene, and we cut, don't have to be too scientific here, about 1 inch. And we want 4 of those. So this step is standard to both of the kits. Okay, external to the kit, you want your glue and your wheel sets. I like using nice metal wheel sets and I love curly spoked. On top of that, you also want some snippers to snip your styrene. So, if we look closely, you can see that there is a relief inside the chassis rail as well as the hole. So we get a little bit of glue. We apply our glue. I just apply to the back of this handle. We then get one of our little snips of styrene, jam it in that hole. Then, so this is a that way handle. Put a little bit more glue there and apply that in there, which is proving to be a nice tight fit. And that should sit with that bottom key horizontal. So then we'll get our other handle, our glue. Sorry for doing that out of shot. It's a bit easier to see without the camera in the way. Yet again, our dowel, I suppose it's a dowel. Because the sharp edge isn't very nice on my hand. That's inconvenient. So now we're going to drill that out. I could edit this out, but we can name that. So we just put a drill into there. Okay. There you go. I don't pretend to be perfect. And while we're at it, seeing as I've got the drill, and those other side ones were so difficult, I'm going to drill out the chassis. So that was just a 3.5mm drill bit, which will give us a nice clearance fit for the styrene. Okay. And yep, we just turn and repeat, put all these handles on. So now I've ended up with, I was painting two kits at the same time, and I picked up the wrong release handle. Which has got a tight hole in it too. So just to note, might not hurt to have a 3.5mm drill bit handy. 3.5, 3.3. I think that's 1/8 of an inch in the old money. All right, that's all that. That was embarrassing. Okay, next, we're going a bit off tack here. Here's our brake shoes. So these parts go in these little slots in the chassis. And these are set up to be a quite firm fit. And then here again, we've got the little slot. All right, now there's a slight relief in these spots. That is where our axle boxes go. Now these slots are a bit coarser than a lot of my wagons are. And they're just simply to try to allow for a little bit of wiggle room around the brake shoes. So we take our axle boxes. So you've got about 1mm play to feed that in and feed the axle back and forth to make sure that those brakes aren't going to cause undue trouble. This being the first kit that I designed that has brakes. Same thing at the other end. We just change the wheelbase slightly to make sure we're safe. Alrighto. So next, our couplings. You'll see there's a rectangular relief in the buffer beam. We apply some glue. And that will, once we get the angle right, just drop in there. and done. Okay, last couple of steps. We take our glue. We've got some holes here in the chassis. Now these steps and the fitment of the brake shoes underneath are only if you are assembling the braked version. And we push the brake stand down in there. We can stand him back up now. Get what's left of our piece of styrene rod. We push that through there, and through the chassis. Now, because it's all a bit of a firm fit, we've knocked the... I'm not 100% happy with the 3D printed balconies. I am working on making a jig to make them out of wire, but I haven't got there yet. They do look the part and work with the 3D printed one. They're just a little bit delicate. And then I haven't got a lot of science to this. You decide how long you want the brake stand to stick up, say there, and put it up the right way. We put a little bit of glue in the bottom of our brake handle, a little T-handle. Glue's about stuffed. And let's put this one sideways. Same thing, that's got enough of a relief to just go in over the 3mm styrene. And there we go. We do still have to put the coupling on this end. And there we go. That is the Kiama hopper kit assembled. Oh, the long brake version. As I said, the short unbraked is exactly the same, except we don't have the, well, brake components. Thank you. If you've made it this far, thank you for watching. It is appreciated. As I've said before, if there is a particular type of wagon you'd like to see me cover, or a particular kind of content, please shoot me a message, email, however, and let me know. These kits are available on our Facebook and Etsy pages. Links will be in the description. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.